Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report. The question is, will the Las Vegas Raiders extend Josh Jacobs? I'll give you my answer on that at the end of today's show, but I would not have been able to do today's live show or the video you're watching right now if it wasn't for our sponsor, Panda Supps. Use code Raiders or you can use code TEST, T-E-S-T, for 25% off at pandasupps.com. I promise all of y'all, you're going to love the products that they have to offer. Panda Supps is always hooking up the nation with their brand new test booster that I promise you, you guys are going to like a lot. So here's the topic of discussion. Bleacher Report, they released an article out there, and it was around predictions for players who are not showing up right now to off-season camp. Well, Bleacher Report predicts that the Raiders will not extend Josh Jacobs. So what you're going to see is the reason behind what they had to say, and then I am going to give you my reaction. So right now, the top trending topic around the Las Vegas Raiders that is not the NFL draft involves number 28, their star running back coming off a career year. The Las Vegas Raiders this offseason gave him the franchise tag at $10.09 million. Jacobs is looking for a contract extension, and there are rumors and reports out there that he doesn't want to play under the franchise tag. So what you're going to see here is some of the things that he has said this offseason that made me feel that way. Some of the things that he's put out there before he even signed the franchise tag, because I think every single Raider fan out there wants Josh Jacobs on this team. Like, there's probably a split of how much do you actually extend him for, whether or not you want to do that. But I really don't believe, at least anyone who's sane, would say the Raiders are a better football team without Josh Jacobs. I don't think there's anybody out there. Please prove me wrong if I'm wrong. So Bleacher Report, what I did think was interesting, though, in the exact same article, they said Jacobs isn't going to get a contract extension. But they did say that the New York Giants are going to give Saquon Barkley a 3-year, $37 million with $22 million guaranteed. The reason why I do think that that's notable is because if you're the Giants or if you're the Raiders, it's kind of like a race where you want to be the team, if you are planning on giving that contract extension out, you want to be the one that does it first. If the Raiders honestly want to get a deal done with Jacobs, you want to try to get it done before the Giants do it with Barkley. Why? Because if I'm Jacobs' agent and I see Barkley getting that deal, I'm going to ask for a little bit more. Sure, Barkley was a higher round pick, but the year Jacobs had, he's got all the tools in the shed to say, hey, I deserve to get paid more. Now, I do know this. If the Raiders do give Jacobs a contract extension, I don't care when it is, we're going to be going live. And we are 24 subs. 24 subs. That number's important. Why? Jacobs was drafted 24th overall back in the 2019 draft. I've been trying to get to 136,000 subs for a very long time. Join the family. We'd appreciate it. So hit that subscribe button. That way you get free Raiders videos. So let's continue to look here at what Bleacher Report had to say on Josh Jacobs and why he's not going to get extended. Saquon Barkley isn't the only big-name running back who's unhappy about receiving the franchise tag. Josh Jacobs of the Las Vegas Raiders posted a cryptic message on his Instagram account that would appear to be warning the Vegas front office not to shortchange him on a new deal. One of the biggest reasons why I started this show back in 2018 was because there are people out there, media outlets, and Bleacher Report is one of those, that puts out information to the public and then the public believes it. But when I started the Chucky Heads, when I started the Just Win Babies, I wanted to be able to see rumors and give my own 2 cents, give my personal reaction. And if you're somebody who doesn't know a lot about the Raiders, you might have read that article by Bleacher Report and been like, shit, respect goes both ways, would hate to see it. But if you watch the show, this is a thing that I talked about on Monday, and I wanted to bring it up again today. This has absolutely, positively nothing to do with football. I have a very good source to this situation that told me this has nothing to do with football. And also, if you follow Jacobs this whole offseason, he's been posting a lot of tweets and a lot of messages that have to do with comic books or video games and all that kind of stuff. So from what I understand, that message had nothing to do with football-related content. So that's the first part of Bleacher Reports, you might as well just throw it out the window. Let's go to the next thing that they had to say on number 28. That wasn't the first time that Jacobs made it clear he expects to be well compensated after leading the league in rushing last season. The 25-year-old told reporters at the Pro Bowl that if he was forced to play under the tag in 2023, it would be a matter of hero turned villain. I mean, here's another thing by Bleacher Report that's, actually not 100% true. Did he say hero turned villain? Yeah, but he also tweeted that out January 31st. At the Combine, what he said was, if you want me to play underneath the franchise tag, you better build a very good team around me. So, did he say he's okay playing under the tag? Sure. But the Raiders have to load up on talent around him. So I would kind of answer that and say, honestly, I don't really think that the Raiders have loaded up on talent around him, especially on the defensive side of the football. But from an offensive standpoint, you could make the argument that this Raiders offense could potentially be better with a quarterback that knows how to run McDaniels' system, with a decent tight end in Austin Hooper. Like Austin Hooper, Jacoby Myers, to me, is a better combo than just Darren Waller by himself. Though Jacobs was upset that Darren Waller ultimately did get dealt. Here we go. This is what Josh Jacobs had to say earlier this offseason in regards to what happens with his future, in regards to his contract. I feel like I'm in the driver's seat. You know what I'm saying? I control the ship. However, it goes, that's how it's going to go. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not too much worried about it, but it's definitely got to make sense. And it does definitely got to make sense. I know from people who know Jacobs personally, I've talked to Graphic Raider who met up with Josh Jacobs this offseason and asked him, do you want to be a Raider? And Josh made it very, very clear to Graph that, yes, I want to be a Raider. I got it tattooed on me for a reason. He wants to be a Raider for life. That is what I've heard. But I can also understand from his standpoint, 25 years old, and if you don't know a lot about Jacobs' background, I don't blame any player who has the background that Jacobs has, that he wants to get the bag, that he wants to get paid. Coming off the year that he did, he understands that this is his shot, where he has the opportunity to make a lot of money, not just for himself, but to change his family's lives, to change multiple generations' lives. So if he wants to get a little bit greedy over a few mil, I'm good with it, right? Like, I 100% his standpoint. However, I also get it from the Raiders' standpoint, where maybe you don't want to pay a running back. Maybe you don't want to pay a back who has had some injury issues. And the final year that he has kind of put up the shut up, he did. He posted it up. And the Raiders like, well, man, we're giving you $10 million on the franchise tag. You should be happy about it. But Jacobs is looking at this more for himself, which I don't blame anybody for doing. We're going to continue to look at here what Bleacher Report had to say on Jacobs. In some respects, Jacobs is in an even worse spot than Barkley. The Raiders are closer to rebuilding than contending, and there's no point in rebuilding a team spending big on a running back. So, Jacobs can either take the offer that makes sense for Vegas, hold out, or play in 2023 under the franchise tag. The latter is the most likely outcome. So when you see all of those things, when you hear my standpoint, I want to know from every single person watching right now, will the Raiders extend running back Josh Jacobs this offseason? Give me a yes, give me a no. If you want to be an overachiever and give me more information on why you think yes or no, that's great. I go in the comments. I look to see what you guys have to say. If you take time watching this show, I promise you this. Me, Chugs, someone's going to look at those comments. So will the Raiders extend Josh Jacobs this offseason? Please let me know. My answer is I really, truly believe in my heart of hearts that they do extend Jacobs. However, I have said for weeks, I guess probably even months at this point, that it's going to happen after the NFL draft. They want to put their concentration on the draft and then worry about Jacobs afterward. Why? Because that's kind of what this Raiders regime has done. When they need to handle it, they'll handle it. And they essentially have until middle of July. July 15th, July 17th. It's one of those 2 days until they get a deal done. And the extension projection that I have given out for probably close to a month now, if you look, Bleacher Report said 3 years, 37 with $22 million. What I have been saying that I believe Jacobs ends up getting is these numbers right here. However, 2025 is not guaranteed. So that would put him at around $23.2 million in guaranteed dollars. And the reason why you do this type of contract, well, I'll tell you in just a second. So coming up here, why the Raiders will extend Josh Jacobs. And I'm going to tell you all of these reasons. I got 5 of them. I'm also going to tell you why you do the contract that you do. That's all coming up. But before I get into that, today's show sponsor, again, is from Panda Supps. We've had these guys here for a very long time, and if you're trying to get into better shape, I encourage that you try out their brand new testosterone booster, which you can get with code TEST, 25% off at pandasupps.com. If you're looking for a natural way to build muscle, strength, improve sex drive, and increase energy levels, welcome the all-new Panda Test. Panda Test uses clinically dosed ingredients to naturally boost free testosterone levels and reduce stress hormones. Now, bear with me here. I'm going to do my best to pronounce some of these crazy things. So, you got something like Tribulus. It naturally improves free testosterone levels. What about Turksterone? Shown to improve lean muscle mass and increase protein synthesis. Ashwagandha, shown to increase exercise performance, strength, fat loss, while boosting testosterone levels. Fenugreek, shown to lower blood sugar levels while boosting testosterone. Tonget, Ali, shown to stimulate the release of free testosterone and reduce fatigue. Dim, shown to free up bound testosterone and optimize its performance in the body. All I know is this. I take these products, and I took tests probably, 4 or 5 months ago, and I put on 5 pounds, I would say, of good weight. Since I've stopped taking it, I've lost a little bit of muscle mass. So I do plan on hopping back on the train because, well, I do have a trip to Cancun here in about a month. So use code TEST, 25% off at pandasupps.com. Now, shout out to everyone tuned in live. If you don't already know, we go live every single Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific. On top of that, I'm going to be live on Thursday with a fun little challenge show, 500 grams. That's all I'm saying. And then on Friday, an interview with Raiders right tackle Jermaine Illuminor for our happy hour show. Make sure you're tuned in and make sure you're watching. So here are 5 reasons why the Las Vegas Raiders are going to extend Josh Jacobs. The number 1 reason, Jacobs wants the extension. He is going to make it very clear to the Raiders, and his agent, from what I understand, is also going to make it very clear to the Raiders that, hey, my client, my player, Josh Jacobs, wants the contract extension. I don't think that he would end up holding out because that actually doesn't make a lot of sense for him. Then he doesn't get paid. If you don't play underneath the franchise tag, you don't sign it, you don't play, which I don't think helps him in the long haul, and he's going to be out a lot of money. However, though, when you look at some of the money that's being thrown out there right now at the running back group, I can understand him wanting the deal, especially coming off of the year that he just had. The next thing is this. To me, it's not a matter of him sitting out. No extension could mean a trade. There's not going to be an NFL team out there that offers 2 first-round picks. So when the Raiders gave Josh Jacobs the non-exclusive franchise tag, it means if a team wants to offer Jacobs more money, they can do so, but they have to give the Las Vegas Raiders 2 first-round picks. That ain't going to happen. But if Jacobs makes it very, very clear to them, like, I'm not going to play this season unless you give me the money that I want, then that could force McDaniels and Ziegler to look at that situation and be like, maybe Jacobs isn't the guy that we thought. Like, we want team players, and I still think Jacobs is a team guy, but I could see McDaniels and Ziegler looking at that as a very negative thing and trading him away. On top of that, though, the Raiders have already come out and said that they're not going to look at the Jacobs contract situation until after the draft. I'm sorry, trading Jacobs after the 2023 NFL draft and you get no compensation for him this year makes no sense at all. It looks bad on McDaniels. It looks bad on Ziegler. Unless you're able to fleece a first-round pick for Jacobs after the draft, which I do not think you're going to get. Trading him is just a dumb move, and it looks like you're playing checkers and everyone else is playing chess. Let's go to the next reason here. Josh McDaniels wants Jacobs in Las Vegas. McDaniels said this offseason and even said during the regular season that they want number 28 for the long haul on this team. And here is the exact quote from McDaniels on keeping Jacobs earlier this offseason. That's the hope and the goal, is that he's here for a while. We'll see how that all plays out. But again, Dave and Josh's representatives have been in contact, and that's the goal. That's what we are working toward. So McDaniels has come out and said a few things in the past, right? With McDaniels coming out and saying, hey, we want Josh to be a member of this Raiders team. We don't want him to go anywhere. He is a part of this team. Do you believe him or not? It's a valid question. How much do you honestly trust what McDaniels says? I want you to scale it for me from 0 to 10. 0, you don't believe him anything. 10, when he says it, it's the truth. I'm probably somewhere around a 3 or a 4, but that doesn't necessarily mean I don't believe him saying that he wants Josh Jacobs around. Let's go to the next reason here, and this is the reason why, when I mentioned earlier about the contract situation, why you give him 2 years fully guaranteed and then you don't give him the next year guaranteed. The reason, because he's needed for Jimmy Garoppolo or a rookie quarterback. You sign Jimmy Garoppolo, a quarterback that has got all the connections to Ziegler, has all the connections to McDaniels, and those two guys want to make themselves look good, right? I think we can all agree with that. So, if you don't have Jacobs with Jimmy G in this offense, I'm sorry. This offense, this running game is going to struggle, because to me, you don't have another running back that is even close to Jacobs. And then, if you give him the contract extension that I showed earlier, where it's $8 million fully guaranteed in year one, $15 million, sure, it's a lot of money, but guess what? If you end up taking a rookie quarterback this season, or if you end up taking a quarterback in next season's draft, I am okay with paying Josh Jacobs a little bit more money, because guess what? Call me crazy. I believe in having success starts with the offensive line, of course. You have to have skill position players, of course. But I also think, no matter what, that rookie, that first-year starter, if you have a running back like Josh Jacobs, that takes off so much pressure. So think about all of those things. Jacobs, whatever this Raiders plan is, he helps out Garoppolo, and he's either going to help out a rookie quarterback for this year or whoever you have as that rookie quarterback, whether it's somebody you draft in 2024 or you draft him this year, you let him sit next season. Jacobs helps out that QB, and if you don't have Jacobs, I think you're taking a huge risk, which they shouldn't do. The final reason is this. He's arguably the best NFL running back out there. I am a person that does not believe in paying running backs. I am a person that doesn't want to take running backs high. I am a person that said it was smart for the Raiders to not give Jacobs his fifth-year option. All of those reasons, you can throw all those L's at me. But what Josh did last season, he has proven that when he's motivated, he is that dude. Coming off a season with over 2,000 total yards. And I think of 2,000 total yards, the Raiders, they went 6-11. Imagine now if you have a quarterback that knows how to run the offense. What happens if they actually get a defense that can get it together a little bit? Jacobs could even improve. Would it surprise anyone? It'd be a big-time deal. But if a lot of things went to a certain way, Jacobs could actually improve on those numbers. So at the end of the day, in conclusion here, I believe that the Raiders will extend Josh Jacobs, and they should. Because has he earned it? Yes. But it's also the smart thing to do for this organization based off what this team has already done. If you're going to invest in Garoppolo, he needs a running back. If you're planning on investing on a quarterback in this year's draft or next year's draft, you're going to need Josh Jacobs to be able to hold it together. If you don't have a running game, you are throwing Jimmy G to the Wolves, or you're throwing that new young quarterback to the Wolves. And if you're doing that, you might as well kiss your freaking job goodbye. Was it a loud clap? I'm sorry about that. All right, so here's how I want to end today's show. I know it's going to be a tough moment for everyone out there, but if everyone could, please spam RIP down in the comments. If anybody can reach out, I've been trying to get a hold of somebody who knows Chris Smith's family here. I mean, it's just unbelievably sad. We always say once a Raider, always a Raider. I think when you see stuff like this pop up, I saw Max Crosby posting stuff. I saw former Raiders defensive lineman Kendall Vickers posting stuff. couldn't believe when I heard the news. I still, at this moment, don't know if anything has come out in terms of why Chris Smith passed away at 31. But if you can, tell your loved ones that you love them. It's just a reminder that every day, nothing is guaranteed. Chris put a smile on so many players' faces. And like, that is the overwhelming response that you've seen on all of social media. So to Chris, to his family, to anybody that maybe knows him personally, to Raider Nation, tell your loved ones that you care about them. And hopefully Chris is looking down right now on the Raiders Report and everyone tuned in right now. And just know, man, we're pulling. It's tough, man. This one sucks, no doubt about it. So I'm going to wrap up today's show. Cheers to everyone who's watching this live. Get some RIPs in there because, again, once a Raider, always a Raider. Chris Smith, you will be missed.